Hey, this is Rob Goebel, aka Archery Rob. This is my intro for preparing all of your wild game, from butchering all the way through to making snack sticks, ground jerky, and anything else. Okay, so this video here is going to be all done point of view. I'm not dealing with the microphone. And it's going to be on making Lebanon Bologna and honey barbecue snack sticks, all on the same instance. This is the first time I've ever used pork shoulder and non-fat dry milk as the binder, and hoping it's going to turn out pretty good. It turns out pretty good with venison bacon, so I think it's going to work here. So I'm going to start with, I'm not going to cover a whole lot on mixing it and the spices and all that. Everybody shows you how to do all those videos, so it's mainly cooking it in the smokehouse and other things along that kind of line, and getting it ready. Not building a whole lot with stuff, and just maybe the ways I do it to make it how I do the snack sticks to hang and all that, but we'll cover that. Okay, so now I'm going to start grinding this pork. It's all cut up into longer pieces. You see some of these, like these are long pieces. The big bite grinder will handle it this way. We'll drop them right in. And see, it's coming out already. I'm going to keep dropping these in here until it's all ground. I got 10 pounds and 7 packages. My ground pork, all my ground deer. I have all my dry mixtures here. It is the powdered milk and all the spices and salt and everything, and this one is just the brown sugar. And there's my king syrup and liquid smoke, and it's all going to go in here. So I'm going to fill it up, and I'm not going to take a video of doing that. And now it's mixing, and now I got all my brown sugar and all the other spices. I put the binder for the non-fat milk in there. Slowly sprinkle all this in. The milk's going to go in there and bind all that pork fat up. Keep it from rendering out. Works pretty good with my venison bacon, so you can see it's all going in there. I'm not going to have to stop it here. I need to see all that. Keep going. It's just a waste of time. Alright, so I started this around 6:05 or 5:06, and that's about 5 after 7. And it's just starting to warm up. Come over here, and the brick's cold. This is barely getting warm on top. Fire's burning down. Gotta put some more wood on it. Gotta go and get this warm, but you can see when it smokes like this, it's good smoking wood, but it doesn't have any heat to it. So 7:05, time to go in and stuff the casings, and we'll bring them back out. Okay, so I got my 20 pounds of Lebanon Bologna, my hog rings for the end of the casings. Stuffer is initially stuffed up for the first run. I've got leftover casings. These are pre-tied. I used to hang them by this, but I'll explain that later in the smokehouse. I'm just using these up. And I'll run them long enough to lay inside of here so they can rest up overnight. Easier to carry them to the smokehouse, and then they can rest in here in the fridge overnight until they're cured and solid, and I can stack them up and cut them tomorrow and freeze them. All right, so I brought all the casings out. All 20 pounds of stuff in there. These are 2 3/4 inch by 24 inch pre-tied. I used to hang from here, but heat zones, it gets warmer down the bottom than it does up top, so I found out I get better bologna cooking horizontal like this, and they cook just the same. It doesn't really matter. So there's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9.5 casings. We're getting ready to cook. I got a probe in the bottom and a probe in the top, running off the Inkbird IB6T or something like that. I'll show a picture of that later. And The smokehouse is heated up pretty good. We'll get these other shelves out of here and this meat tub and everything out of the way and start cranking it up. Okay, so here you can see the bypass damper is closed on the bypass there. And now smoke is starting to roll through. Comes up through these rocks. These rocks get hot and they kind of like keep in a more even temperature. See all the smoke's rolling up through. I'll close that, I'll latch it in a second. And then it starts coming out these little vent holes. And on the smokehouse, I got stuff on the smokehouse. I got to do a video just on the smokehouse. And that's calculated to let it flow properly. So we're gonna let it go, let it run. That's my daughter's dog Archie. He's loving the smokehouse being run. And we'll let it go and see how it goes later. All right, so we're at 8 o'clock and it's a good rolling smoke. You can see the smoke pouring out of the smokehouse. It's just full up in there. I mean, literally, you're basically cooking in a chimney. And 79. Holy shit balls. Let me come at that from another angle. It said 81, 48, 81, there we go, 81, 48, and 48 on the temperature of the meat. Holy crap. Yeah, that's some good smoke. It's choking me. But it's gonna make that cherry's gonna make some beautiful tasting logs. Here we are back again at it. It's around 11 o'clock, so it's been 3 hours worth of smoking so far. Good heavy smoke rolling. It's finally over 126 inside the cabinet. So that's killing any bacteria on the outside of them. They're up to 118 inside. These casings are a little smaller than what I'm used to using. But I guess they're 2 1/4 instead of 2 1/2, and it's running along pretty good still. I could kick the heat up here and get them up to 145 and let them rest for 4-5 minutes and then they'll be done. But you know, I'm letting the smoke apply. It's not hurting anything. There's no rush. As long as you don't overcook them. I don't like to get the temperature inside of the smokehouse too high. 170 is plenty, 175. I don't like getting near 180 and anywhere higher at all. Here we are about 12:15, smoking away still. Just put some more wood on to bring it up. A little higher in temperature, 140. 129 on the meats, 142 internal. Gonna raise it up inside. Right now, 129. You get to 130, it'll be cured in 2 hours for bacteria kill, but I'm gonna get up to 145 and I'd let it rest there for a couple of minutes. Either I've done it at a 140 sometimes. It just has to rest a little longer. But we're doing pretty good. I like to cook on the low side. I got a video on that if you want to watch that and learn about that. All right, back again. And one thing here, I think they're done. It's like 1:40, almost 2 o'clock. And the temperature's up in the 170s. It goes to 170, 140. They were up to 142. And now they're back down to 140 because I'm not letting it get over 175. And it's like it's the stall area. They don't have a lot of moisture in them to really raise the heat really well after they've been cooking a long time. And if they're 140 for 10 minutes, the logarithmics is that the stuff's, you know, the bacteria is all dead. And they've been in over 140 for a half hour. So I'm not pushing them hard. They can cook here for another half hour at 140, but I'm not gonna push them. But I'm not gonna let this get to 180 degrees. That's when, especially working with pork in there, I want it to stay nice. And you know, this meat's done. It's done, killed all the bacteria, so we'll see. Let it go a little while longer and see what happens. Okay, so here we are, 217. Actually losing temperature here. They're down to 138 now, and they were up 142, and they've been, so they're not gaining anymore, and they won't So there's the smoke habits. Everything looks pretty good. I think when I just pull that and block the door, I'll stay open, make it naturally cool down. That's where the bypass let the heat out there, and all the smoke will stop going through there. And these can just naturally cool down. I'll be able to watch them on the thermometer here. I'll be able to watch them here, and they'll start dropping here pretty quickly. No need for an ice bath or anything. They'll drop on their own. Okay, so here's the Lebanon Bologna from yesterday. Taken out and starting there. It's all I rested overnight. It's all taken out. There is the actual, the fat chunks are maybe a little big. I could maybe grind them a little finer, but that's going to see with some of it. And it's got a pretty good bite. I think it's actually a little more firm than when I make it with beef. So I'm quite pleased with this, and it's cheaper. So I'm quite happy. This turned out very well.